According to the Sex Discrimination Act 1984, if you or anyone you know ever admit out loud that they think there are only two real genders, they can legally be sued under current Australian law. Taxpayers will pay to sue them, but they will have to pay for their own defence. Who would actually be sued? Any employer, schools and universities, services like restaurants, shops, lawyers, doctors.
You just said that under current Australian law, we could be sued for this opinion. So if that's true, wouldn't people be getting sued already?
Very fair question. Did you even know that there were more than two genders already in Australian law? Did you see any news headlines about it? Did you vote about it? No, I didn't either. I had no idea until now. Currently, the Discrimination Act alone is not enough to legally sue someone who simply discusses being against gender fluidity. However, if same-sex marriage is legalised, there will be a strong enough case to sue for anti-discrimination.
Just one day after a Supreme Court decision cleared the way for same-sex marriages to begin in Virginia and 4 other states, big changes are already underway.
Yeah, that includes changing a laundry list of laws, ordinances, and regulations. Our Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Jeff Goldberg is live outside the Arlington County Courthouse with the way these changes affect Virginians. Jeff.
Today, Governor Terry McAuliffe signed an executive order directing state agencies to comply with the Supreme Court's same-sex marriage ruling, saying state government is already well prepared to implement this landmark decision. That means plenty of new benefits, including health insurance for spouses of state employees and adoption access. And the clerk we spoke with today in Arlington believes there very well may be plenty of private business owners who will not provide benefits to same-sex married couples based on religious or moral differences that they believe. Many of those cases could very well end up in court.
Well, the U.S. Supreme Court is now considering a case that could have major implications for religious freedom. A Christian couple that owns a photography business refused to photograph a gay wedding. Well, the newlyweds sued them and won, with the New Mexico Supreme Court ruling that the Christians had to shoot the wedding or pay thousands of dollars in fines. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court may weigh in.
The case made it all the way to the New Mexico Supreme Court, where the court found the Huguenons did violate the New Mexico Human Rights Act. And you have to remember, Megan, that when Elaine and Jonathan Huguenon declined to shoot that same-sex wedding, they were sued, as you said, paid thousands of dollars to the lesbian couple.
The Gresham baker is now forced to pay up after refusing a same-sex couple a cake.
Sweet Cakes by Melissa, a bakery that was forced to shut down after the owners refused to bake a cake for a same-sex marriage ceremony. Before being fined some $135,000, the owners of that bakery, Melissa and Aaron Klein, join us in moments.
Melissa and Aaron Klein found out today they have to pay $135,000 for refusing to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding after a final ruling by the state's Bureau of Labor and Industries.
For this to go this far, this is ridiculous. It should scare every American.
Back in 2013, the Kleins were operating Sweet Cakes by Melissa, a small bakery in Gresham. A woman walked in and put in an order for a wedding cake.
I asked for the name of the bride and groom. She informed me that it was 2 brides.
The Kleins are Christian, and he felt providing a cake for that wedding went against their religious beliefs.
She was asking me to not only bake the cake, Melissa to decorate the cake, to design the cake, but then show up at the wedding. There's so much more to it than most people understand.
After the complaint was filed, the Kleins saw protesters outside their bakery, but also customers lining up to support them. Eventually, they had to close the business after vendors cut ties with them. For their part, the Kleins say they've been attacked, too.
We've had it seems like almost a weekly occurrence where we have somebody send us hate mail.
At the same time, they feel the state is punishing them for exercising their constitutional rights and using them to set an example. They say they'll be appealing the ruling to a higher court and hoping for the best.
It's cost us our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech.
I feel that I should just they should be able to live their life the way that they want to. I also should be able to live the way, I want to.
But the lesbian couple filed a complaint with the state of Oregon, and the state sided with them, saying it's against Oregon law to refuse service because of sexual orientation. The Kleins were ordered to pay the lesbian couple $135,000 and were told to stop talking about how they won't service same-sex weddings. Aaron and Melissa Klein refused to pay the judgment. Both the lesbian couple and the Kleins maintain that because of this case, they routinely get hate mail and threats. Sweet Cakes with Melissa closed its brick and mortar store, took the business online, but now it's closed altogether.
It makes no sense to what he said. I mean, we never rejected a customer. We said no thank you to an event. It's a much different scenario than what he thinks it is.
Even though everybody has the same rights, nobody gets extra rights. So nobody gets to redefine things for everybody else and then have them have to conform to it.
They offered to make you a deal. They said you pay this fine, but also stop refusing specific weddings, and we'll call it a day, and it's all over. And you said?
No. It's not about the money. It's about freedom. It's about my 8 kids and our 23 grandchildren and the future and now. There's not a price on freedom. You can't buy my freedom. And if it's me now, but tomorrow it's going to be you. You got to wake up. That's a good question. The Attorney General and the ACLU sued me because I would not do a same-sex wedding. Because my faith teaches me that marriage is between a man and a woman. No. Oh, not at all. Rob, one of the gentlemen who's suing me, we've been friends for 10 years. I've waited on him for different events and got to do lots of creative things for him, and I miss him. I don't do background checks on my customers, but I do believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. Yes. It's in the Washington Supreme Court, and we're waiting to see if they'll take the case. Everything. And I understand you have a spare bedroom. They're worried about Grandma and Grandpa losing things, and my kids are worried about us losing our home and our retirement and our life savings. And the grandkids are worried because there's not a lot of cookies in the cookie jar because we've been really busy. Absolutely not.
Now to a Kelly File exclusive, a religious freedom fight getting national attention after a Christian florist refused to provide flowers for a same-sex wedding because of her beliefs.
Shannon Bairnell Stutzman is a florist who employs gay people and serves gay clients. In fact, the gay couple at the center of this fight were longtime customers, but she refused to provide flowers for their wedding because she believes marriage is between a man and a woman. When the ACLU sued on behalf of the couple and the Washington State Attorney General filed a consumer protection lawsuit against her, Stutzman filed a counter lawsuit. But a Superior Court judge has now ruled against her. So now the same-sex couple and the state are allowed to sue her for personal assets like her house and bank account. The Attorney General has agreed to settle the case for a $2,000 penalty if Stutzman agrees not to discriminate in the future. The AG says, quote, "My primary goal has always been to bring about an end to the defendant's unlawful conduct and to make clear that I will not tolerate discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation." But Stutzman compares the deal to the one Judas struck, saying, quote, "I certainly don't relish the idea of losing my business, my home, and everything else that your lawsuit threatens to take from my family, but my freedom to honor God in doing what I do best is more important."
The court's decision, as well as the Attorney General's actions, are sending a very clear, unmistakable message to Bairnell and anyone like her, which is that if you dare to decline, the government will bring about your personal and your professional ruin if you don't help celebrate same-sex marriage.
If it's me now, but tomorrow it's going to be you. You got to wake up.
Well, let's not pretend like it's not an assault on Christianity. I know the left would like us to not think that, but there is a clear assault on what we believe. I'm not sure we're prepared for the consequences of eliminating God in every single, out of every single thing that we do today. I think there's going to be severe consequences for that.